my name's Erica Henry, and I'm an artist, an illustrator, and a surface pattern designer. I enjoy creating beautiful things for this world, and I love teaching others how to do the same. I also run my own surface pattern design school, where I also have lots of free and paid content, and you just go to artbyericah.com, select 4 designers, and you can learn more about how to join. I'm so excited to have you in class today. Feel free to ask me any questions that you might have or any suggestions or anything like that, and I hope you enjoy this class.
So today we're going to be talking about how to use different systems to help grow your pattern portfolio fast. I'm going to share with you some of the different techniques and templates that I have created that help me grow my pattern portfolio very quickly, and give you an overview on how those work, and that way you can create your own system that works best for you. I do have other videos on how to grow your pattern portfolio fast that utilize different tips and tricks, so please check those out. But today's is going to be focusing on finding a system that works for you and show you kind of my system that I use. One thing
that drastically helped me was to create a system. Find what system works for you and stick with that. Once you do this, it's going to really help increase your output, because you're not having to stop and think constantly, okay, what do I need to do next? What step is that I need to do next? You're going to have this system and you're already going to know. A big thing that is a huge time saver for me is to use Illustrator actions, symbols, and creating templates. When I started doing this, my output drastically increased, because I wasn't having to think of every single step that I had to take and all of that. It was a very more automated system. That way I could continue to focus on creating the patterns and not all of the technical steps required. And this really, really helped me create patterns faster, that were more technically sound, and that were more enjoyable to create, because I wasn't having to spread myself too thin. So I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So this is a template that I have that helps me go ahead and know types of patterns that I want to do. There's different layouts here. That way I don't have to think about it. I just have to plug my motifs in and my elements in, and I get a basic starting point. A lot of the times my patterns end up very different from how they start, but this at least gives me a base that I don't have to think too hard about in the beginning, and then I can start adjusting and tweaking to fit my exact elements and motifs. But this gives me a starting point. I have a starting point for 8 different patterns here very quickly that I can then start refining. Another very big time saver for me is my save for microstock template, because every microstock site has different requirements. Adobe Stocks wants 5,000 by 5,000 pixels, and they want an ESP and a JPEG. Big Stock wants 4,000 by 4,000, and they want an ESP and a JPEG. Spoonfire wants a different size, and they want a JPEG at 150 dpi, and the list goes on and on. And instead of having to think about each one of those individual requirements, I created a template and created actions to help speed things along. Before this, it would take me as long as it did to create the pattern just to save it for the microstocks. And that's not including uploading them. That's just saving it in the dimensions that it needs. So this was a big help for me. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how easy it is to use something like a template in order to create your patterns, in order to save them faster, basically just to save you some time. I'm also going to show you what using actions looks like as well, and how it can help speed up your workflow. So this isn't going to be perfect, because I'm just trying to work fast. That way I can give you an idea of what it would be like to work with these. Now, actions and templates are something that I created in order to help my workflow be faster and to have me think less about things and all of that, just basically to make my life easier. Alright, so I'm going to zoom in here and try to line up these artboards as good as I can. Typically, I would focus very well on this, but this is just for demonstration purposes, so I'm not too terribly worried about it because it's not a pattern that I'll be using. I just wanted to show you how these things can make your life easier. Okay, so that's pretty rough. It works pretty well. So now I'm going to use my actions to do steps that I normally have to think about and do, like creating a clipping mask. My clipping mask is created now. All I had to do is hit a button, and this really helps me out because that's one of the steps that I forget a lot. Then I'm just going to highlight everything, and I'm going to hit my action that I've created that's trim pattern, and it's going to trim my pattern. Now my pattern's trimmed. In just a few clicks, we have a trimmed pattern, which just blows my mind. But the real fun part comes now whenever I go to my Save for Microstock template. So I'm going to paste in my designs here, and I'm going to show you how much this helps. So if I want to save for Adobe Stock and Big Stock and Spoonflower and all my normal Microstock sites, normally I would have to think about each one of their requirements and then create a document for that and all of that. And with a template, I don't have to. So I've got actions set up to go ahead and resize for Adobe Stock. Then we're going to come over here and we're going to go ahead and resize for Big Stock as well. And my settings for Spoonflower and also Shutterstock. Now I've got 6 microstocks ready to go. All I have to do is export by the way that they say and then upload them to the sites. And this is a huge time saver for me. Setting goals for yourself will really help your portfolio grow because you're gonna be committed to making those goals work. These can be yearly goals, they can be monthly goals, they can be daily goals or hourly, whatever works for you. Just something that's going to make you say, you know what, I've got to work today. Another thing that's very helpful is to set a dedicated time and day to work. Write this down because when you write it, it feels more real and you're going to feel more committed to it. You can tell someone who will hold you accountable, someone who's going to call you on Monday if Monday at 6 o'clock is going to be your time to work and say, are you working? This could also be someone online, in a group, whatever works for you. Set a reminder in your calendar. Every Monday at 6 o'clock, I'm going to work for an hour. I'm going ahead and blocking it out on my calendar. This is going to give you a reminder to do it and make you feel more committed to do it. Just make sure that you are doing it. Because if you're not creating patterns, your portfolio is not going to grow. Another thing that's very helpful is to create collections. As I showed you before in my backyard garden collection, by starting out with a collection idea, I was able to take motifs and elements and continue to build upon those and create a snowball effect where I had tons and tons of patterns without having to start over every single time. This is a huge time saver. On top of having motifs that are going to fit into many patterns, it's also going to give clients a large amount of work to choose from. And they all go together because they're a collection, so they're cohesive. So even though you have tons and tons of patterns, they still fit together and make sense. So I wanted to thank you for being here today. I hope you enjoyed the class. It was a lot of fun to create, and I cannot wait to see what you do with the tips that I had for you. If you enjoyed this class and you would like to take others like this, please consider joining my monthly membership. My monthly membership has classes like this as well as exclusive content just for my monthly members. You just go to artbyericah.com, select 4 designers, and you can learn more about how to join. And best of all, it's free. You can even check out my exclusive content for my paid members for a full month for free. Details about that are in the description below.